Hello everyone, welcome to A Foreigner Farming in the Philippines. You know, I think we've got a couple thousand new subscribers since I did a demonstration on the Sechi disc before. So I'm going to repeat it today. And because I need to take some readings off of this. A Sechi disc measures solids in the water. It's an easy way to test clarity. Now we've done about a 20% water exchange yesterday and today combined. So this water is going to be a little more clear than normal, because usually I only do like a 5% water exchange every day. So this first tank here has the most fish in it, and it gets the fresh water first. So even though this has the most fish in this first tank here, this should be the clearest water. Now, the parameters for water clarity, and this is all based. Water clarity is directly related to the health of your fish. Now this was all in centimeters. I converted it to inches. So basically the first 6 inches of this, because that's the black and the red. If I put this Sechi disc in the water and I take it down that far and I can no longer see the Sechi disc, then the water is so clouded with algae that that's your fish are about to die point there. Because what happens with the algae, you know, the fish eat it, especially the young fish. That's the natural food in a pond or in these tanks. And it adds a small amount of oxygen during the day, photosynthesis with the sun. So it serves a dual purpose. It's food and it oxygenates the water. However, at night, when there's no photosynthesis, it removes oxygen from the water. And at night is the biggest danger zone for me in particular, because I could lose power at night and not know it. So the aeration will go off, and we've got all this algae in the water and the fish deoxygenating the water. So it's important for me to keep track of the water clarity, and basically that means the algae load, so that it doesn't get too out of hand. And if this gets really dark, then I'll do a more serious water exchange. So for this first tank here, and look, that first 6 inches is your fish are about to die. The next part there, the red part, and look, I didn't have yellow, green, and red and paint. I had yellow, white, and red and black. So I didn't have any green for the good spot, the sweet spot. So I just used red. So this second area here, you've got the black and red, and then the red. The red is slight danger. You don't want it to get. It's on the high end of the load. So this first tank. So you put it down, and that's at about a foot. So you can clearly see the disc in the water. All right. So this is just fine. And the next markings there, the white and the yellow, and this is getting really faded. The white and the yellow is still in the good range, but it's getting pretty thin. The algae load. Now you can still see the disc. So this is really light on the algae, and of course it would be. It's the first tank. And if you go down one more, and that's the bottom of this tank, I can still see the disc. And if I was in a pond situation or a grow out tank, this yellow and red would be the point at which you either want to add more fertilizer into a pond to increase the algae growth or increase your biomass. Now there's plenty of biomass in here, and if I did not do a water exchange in this tank for say a week, it would be down in the red and black area because there is a high biomass in this tank. So I'm going to go on around. The water comes into this first tank from the well. It goes in here, and then there's a drain right here where it comes out and goes into this tank. So this tank should have the second best, least clear water in it. And so, of course, nothing in the danger zone. Can still see it clearly in the good part. Can still see it mostly. I mean, I can still make it out. I don't know how well it's coming up on video, but I can still make it out in the yellow and the white. Now, it disappears right about there. So, it disappeared at about this level. Right about there. So you can get my finger in the shot here. So, this second tank is very good. Now the third tank here, of course, the water goes into that one, into this one, and then drains into this one. So the water in this one should be slightly more cloudy than the last one. So nothing in the danger zone. Still in the sweet spot there. Now it just about disappears into the white and yellow, and that's the bottom of this tank. So I can't really go any further. That's it. So yes, love. Thank you, ma'am. So again, this one is very good water because it went all the way to this here, and could still clearly see the disc. So the water comes out of this tank that we just did and flows into this one. So and over the years I have gotten to where I can kind of do this visually. I don't really need to do this disc, but I just wanted to give a demonstration for you guys. So again, there, noticeable difference even in the kill zone. That disc went out of sight fairly quickly. And we're down to the red, which indicates a water exchange. I can still see the disc, and it disappears now. So it went to right about here, which is kind of in the middle of the okay, but it's getting to the point where it needs some, it's close. Could probably use some water exchange. The water then flows into this tank. Again, there's no big risk, and it disappears right about there. So where in the this tank, and it's as I expected, as we progressively get further and further downstream, this tank could use some fresh water in it, and the only water that's going to come into it is from this tank, because it goes in a serpentine here and ends up in this one. This one can use some fresh water. And of course, these are the 4 tanks here that have the breeder fish in them, and all this water that's in these 4 tanks came out of these yesterday and the day before. So we'll see where we're at on these. That's pretty cloudy, but can still see it. And this one's actually clearer than the last one. I can still barely see the disc at about this level. So this first one is actually in the sweet spot. The next one, all the way down, disappears right about there. just a little bit above the red zone, so that's okay. Alright guys, I apologize about that. I'm standing in direct sun out there, and so I'm sweating, and if I'm pointing down like this, then my face is right over the screen of the phone. And of course it's a touch screen, and the sweat acts as I might as well be touching it. And I didn't even know the zoom on this camera went to ×10. I thought ×5 was as much zoom as it had. But, come to find out, it will go to ×10. So I don't know how much of this video was taken on with that much zoom. So I'm just gonna reiterate what I did here. And rather than just redoing the whole video. So, as anticipated, all around this endless stream here, the water gets murkier and mercury. The water gets more murky. The algae load increases as we go on around, which is to be expected, since the fresh water comes in here and it exits over there, and it's got to go through all these tanks to get there. I don't know how many thousands of gallons that requires. It's a lot. So I'm going to turn the pump on for about 30 minutes, give these tanks a little bit of a flush, and I'll wrap this one up. So that's the Secchi disc, and how it's used, and why it's used, and why I use it. I don't know when it went, because when I'm in direct sun, it overwhelms the screen, and I can't really see what I'm filming. So I don't know how much of this video was at the ×10 zoom. I hope not too much. So, because if it was, I'll just have to redo this whole video. But hopefully we'll be able to salvage it. So, thank you everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.